welcome everybody. We are Islamic Global Conscious Wellness, and we are welcoming all those amazing people, practitioner healers, geniuses around the world. And today we have amazing guest, Spela Perc. She is dedicated to this, had the life into the sports and the member of Yugoslavian national figure skating. It's just amazing, amazing passion that she has since childhood. And in many international competitions that she has attended in European Championship in the world. But due to the severe injury that she had to stop. But then her passion was to get into this sports and fitness. Since then, she's really contributed to create innovation about how it can contribute to to make that body and the physical and the mind in amazing ways. That she has that great genius zone in introducing the fitness into the world. So today we'll welcome the Spela Perc into Isamizu Global Conscious.
Hi, hello.
Welcome. Thank you for being with us. And can you please tell everybody, you started very young skating. How old were you?
First time, actually, my older sister was a skater. So that means that my childhood already as a baby was waiting behind the boards. So it was completely natural environment for me. I could not wait that the coaches of my sister would just take me in their hands and just do a few laps in their arms as a very 3-year-old girl. And when I realized and I felt that wind that you have and the coldness from the ice, obviously water is my element. I could not wait that it's my turn. So I was 4 years old when I actually got my first skates. And yeah, it was at that time, I cannot say I started to train because at that time, the younger kids were more near the boards and just on their own. But I was just skating and skating as much as I could. That was my element. And then it was a natural process to start more serious already when I was 6 years old. And then that was my childhood, and yeah, and it's still my passion.
That's amazing. And you kept going even with the injury that you had to stop the professional skating, but then you kept going, and now you're you started mountain biking and became the Slovenian national champion.
Yeah, that was the funny part of my life because when I injured on the figure skating, mountain biking was the only sport that there was no impact on my ankle joint. So I could just train to go back when the injury is cured. But that sadly never happened. And because I spent so much time on the bike, there were friends who say you should go and try to race on some race just to try and have some fun. And I did it. And then one coach came, he said, because I won, who are you? Yeah, we never saw you among the biking world. I said, no, I'm the figure skater. I will not train this seriously. It was just for fun. But body was trained, and the legs for figure skaters are also quite trained and you have endurance. So yeah, it was a funny period because then I don't even know how this happened. I was in a national biking team. We had to work a lot about being aggressive on the bike and downhills because as a figure skater, you don't have that in your soul. My coach managed to woke up a bit of that, but yeah, it was then I just realized it's not a sport for my soul. It was fun, but when you go into a more professional side of the sport, it's very hard if you do something that it's not connected with your inner strength. So I said, no, it's time to just do the bike as a regular hobby. And yeah, that was then the end of my professional sport career.
And after that, you decided to go back to sports and fitness to start doing a training.
Yeah, you know, like as a figure skater, you always, and then as later as an athlete, also when you're not doing your sport, there is so much, for example, off-ice training, it's dancing, it's ballet, it's so much conditioning to be ready for your sport that actually that was already quite natural part for me and my sister at that time. So we were dreaming about having our own Pilates studio at that time, move away more from fitness and aerobic culture. And there was a moment when we found a place downtown Ljubljana, and we knew that's the time to decide, are we brave enough to go to realize that dream and project, or just close that book and go and search for the job what we were actually studying in the field of our studies. And we decided to go to chase our dreams. It was not easy because, you know, it was the first studio like that in that part of Europe. But yeah, obviously it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. And then you were training a lot of people. Something that we are very passionate about is emotions and energy, and how with everything that we do, we can improve or can affect our emotions. So can you please talk about a little bit about what you experience with transformation and emotions with your people, with your clients, and then with the different movements?
I experienced that in 10 years of being like a personal coach and training a group classes, that people are really having a lot of baggage in their emotions. And many of them, they don't even realize that. And of course, this affects them in every level of their life. You can see that certain people, when they're coming like in light energy, they can improve faster, they're getting stronger faster, but some people are really stuck in certain levels, especially the one who are having back pain, already some serious health issues. It's not just enough to lift the layer of the physical body. I realized that you can do on that level so much, and there is no improvement because you have to go and dig deeper and see where the problem started, why certain people are still stuck in certain health issues. And I realized that in all different techniques that I was teaching, from Pilates and Pilates on reformer, Pilates yoga, regular yoga, that technique of gyrotonic and gyrokinesis, where the spinal movement is actually the core of the technique. We move the spine in every possible direction that the structure of the anatomy of the spine, the vertebra allow. So it's like an inner massage from your inside core. And now we know that the energy from the spine and the cerebral fluid of the spine, how important those elements for the health and emotions are. I think this is really something very special out there, and I wish it would be more spread, that many people could do. But it's usually one-on-one training. So it's not a technique that you can just teach like 30 people at the same time, like aerobics, you know, like aerobics is really like, that's why we started to change with my sister, because we came to one point that we said, okay, aerobic and fitness is fun. Like they're jumping, it's music, the coaches are screaming. But if you want to go into a deeper search, to deeper work, you have to go more one-on-one, because then of course also element of talking with the client, listening the client to the client and their problems, giving them some ideas back. This is everything, is the whole package, the whole process, that I realized it's much more efficient than just to be a coach of a, like on a podium and teaching 30 people and they're just repeating physical exercises after me.
So is that the book you wrote about, and it became a bestsellers in Slovenia, you know, about the movement, the beauty and the movement, all about?
Yeah, that is the book I wrote. It was published in 2009. like 1 month before my son was born. It was, of course, now I would write it differently because I have more knowledge and yeah, you're older. But at that time, I wanted to somehow make, because there is so many different techniques out there, how to move. And I would like to inspire people that everybody should find what works for them. It's not like gyrotonic would work for you, and it's not maybe yoga would work for me. You have to find where you really feel that inner connection. And whatever it is great. Whatever the movement it is, even if it's not like perfect, even if the movement for an average person that it's not a dancer, it's not so precise and it's not so elegant, it's still beautiful because it's a movement. And yeah, that was quite a few months. It was I think it was I don't know if it was a bestseller, but I think people liked it.
True. Can you, we were talking before we started about how some of the exercises can start changing those energy centers that we have in our body. And I really love for you to explain people about how we can open up our heart center, our heart chakra.
Yeah, I think every movement affects certain energy centers, but I like that every person would have open heart center, because this is where we can share our love with others, and we are missing that lately in our planet. And it just actually, I think part of the gyrotonic and gyrokinesis is a lot of arching the spine and at the same time curling. So it's like a massage from both sides of that center through the spinal movement, and just, you know, like opening up, like a morning yawn. It's a very effective part to really open physically, because like people, when they are like shy, they have problems, they naturally start to going into more kyphotic position, they are curling. And then people who are very confident and happy, they will never walk like that in life. They are upright and they're open. And we can trick our mind also, I believe, from that way. You know, you can do a lot with meditation, but also I believe even if you change your physical positions a bit, the energy can flow better. And then you can also affect your mind and your emotions through that way. So why not to try from both directions?
Yes, it's just like the mirror neurons that we have, right?
Yes.
We can mirror our thoughts and our actions that somebody else is doing, but we can do that to our own self, right?
Yes.
Certain movements, we can also start changing our thoughts. And then, so you were sharing with us an experience that you noticed with people that were doing the gyrotonics.
Yeah, you know, like when people come first to the receptions, they don't talk. They are more, not introvert, but they are more like, you know, more to their center. But after a while, of course, they feel also more comfortable with the environment. But I saw like people starting to talk. They start to share private problems. I heard many private stories that actually I didn't know what to do with this information, because it was really very private. And I said, oh my God, like it's a lot to digest, but in the end, like I realized that's a beautiful thing, because like that means people open up, and it's the way it should be. Not to close yourself into a smaller ball.
And you are working right now with studying with Quantum University.
Yes.
So we want to know, what's your passion? We know sports and movement, and that's something that we recommend people to do, some conscious movements. And you said it beautiful. Any movement, what brings you joy, that's the movement you should do. But then
Yes.
just, we want to know a little more about what is your passion, what are your plans for future?
And what
So
do you, yes, what do you
yeah, my
people?
I started to think it's interesting journey, because our family was very sports orientated family. My mom was a professional track and field runner at that time. My sister, she was Olympian, national holder in 60 and 100 meters track and field. I was in figure skating. My father and mother, they were both in doctors, but both in Taoist medicine. So it's like we had really like healthy lifestyle. And when my sister died of cancer, when I just gave birth to my son, after being really physically fit, eating healthy food, never drink any alcohol, never smoked, then you start really questioning yourself, how is this possible? How is this possible that there are people who are really neglecting their physical bodies and still living in healthy bodies, more or less? And there are people who are very young, they have perfect body, healthy, training in every day. What went wrong? And that question bothered me for years. And then I started, you know, when you start to search for an answers, then the universe brings you something. And I found I wanted to make a step forward because I was for such a long time personal trainer with different technique, and I was always working with physical bodies. And I started to realize that me as a person, I don't grow anymore, because of course there is still a course that I can learn something new, but I would be still again on the physical level. I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to research more where the health comes from. Is this just how we eat? Is this just how we train? And in my with the story with my sister, I realized that that's not the case.
We all wonder, right? Well, we have a physical body, but then what's beyond that? There's energy, and there's emotion, there's the mental aspect, psychological, and then there's a consciousness, and then spirituality. All those things are so important, how we can integrate those aspects, right?
Yeah, so I realized that actually, in case of my sister, she decided not to go to the hospital, because when she got the diagnosis, it was so progressed that actually the medicine didn't do anything anymore. Like allopathic medicine, they said we cannot do anything else. And because my both parents were doctors, so they could really accommodate her needs at home, and they were also acupuncturists. So we had a bit of the knowledge at that time. But you know, this is like an onion. You can go deeper and deeper. And like many times now, I think I cannot say that I would make her healthy, but definitely the journey she went through and all the stages that I was seeing her at home, I would treat it completely differently. And many times I'm sorry, why I didn't have that knowledge or that view on health at that time. But I suppose this is how it meant to be for her soul and for us as well. Like it, sometimes you don't have the right answer, but I hope one day I can, because of that experience, I will help some other person who will be a mother, who will be a sister to someone, and then I believe the circle can close, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And so what would you have done different with your sister, for example, now with all the knowledge that you have? Because she was doing all the right things, with nutrition, with movement. So what would be something that people that are listening to us will take on so they can start changing and preventing things in their health and their emotional well-being?
I would talk much more now about with her. Why does she think this happened? Where she thinks she has blockages, or is there a mental part? How she thinks, how she perceives the world around us, where are the where is which part of her journey or of her life is not really that she accepts and she likes, and what she would like to change, and give her power to change it, because we are so stuck in that how we used to, how we should, how we should live, how we should work, how we should do. I know how many times she said to me, and maybe that's from her, I got that in vision for the book. She said, oh, one day I just want to be on our, because she was building a house at the seaside, I want to be there and just write books for kids. And if I would have that knowledge and that strength today, I would inspire her to do that. Because having a studio, we employed 16 trainers. It was quite a challenging period. It's not just like, some people have a dream about having being a studio owner is such a beautiful job. It is, but it also have constant work with 16 coaches that works for you, constant work with clients, and it's not always roses. Yes. And also at that time, Slovenia went from the Slovenian currency to euros, and it was really challenging also the economical part of the studio, because it was not easy time for any of such businesses. So it was, with this knowledge, probably we would go more listening what we want, what is our direction, and especially search for answers more. Why was that first disease, why disappeared in her physical part? And she had idea how to change it and how she will do differently, and did it few months, and immediately the life pulls you back into the old routine. And I think this we both would know today, no, let's go where we decided to do the change. But it's not easy.
It is not easy. It is not easy.
No.
A lot of the times we don't listen to those messages that the body tells us, right? So there was a wake-up call for her, and she was paying attention to her passion, but then you said she went back to her routine, so high stress levels. And that's what we're dealing with. A lot of people are having very high stress levels. We're seeing a lot of like more chronic diseases start to happen. So we need to, I love what you said, like just basically we need to feed our passion. We need to and do what makes us happy and what brings us joy.
I can tell you that like 3 years ago, my mom died, and it's interesting. She had the same diagnosis, same kind of cancer. So you see the energy is going. The energy has no limits, and same kind of patterns and sadness can actually realize on a different body on the same way. And I was so sad, because only the second time this happened, and old wounds opened again. So actually I was somehow grieving two people at the same time, because I realized that when I had baby, I just pushed all my emotions deep inside when my sister died, so I could survive as a new mom and have at least some joy that it was more or less pretending to be happy with the baby, because there was such sadness in me. I was so done that like I could not even do anything. And my husband said, I think you should go back on the ice. I said, there is no way I can go. I have no physical power to put the skates on. And he said, no, you have to go, because just ice rink can save you, because you're there so close to your soul and you need that. So that was my start of the adult skating career. Actually, it's his fault. Maybe he's sorry now because I'm away more. No, but I really I remember I was sitting in the car in front of the arena. I called him and said, I can't go. I can't go inside. I can't. He said, go. And I went. And after first session, it was 1 hour, I came home different person. So This is like how when you have like some traumatic experience or something, it can be cured also so fast. I'm not saying it's cured completely, but you can move from that point zero very fast if you can do something that makes you really happy and you get that energy and passion, like you said, back to you. So we have to be aware that something can go on deep inside months or maybe years before disease can appear, and that certain virus can just trigger that thing that goes faster in that direction. So it's so important how we treat ourselves physically, what we do with our emotions, what we do with our thoughts, and just really people just don't, they take themselves and their being as something as a granted, but it's not like that. I think we have to work on ourselves on daily basis, because this is only thing what we really have.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Spela.
you. Yes.
Thank you for the invitation.